Aye.
Traxler,
Aye.
Malat,
Aye.
Hendrickson. Aye.
We have a budget for 2018. Thank you for all your additional time and workshops, and also to staff for all the work that you put into this. I know it's been a lot of work, so
Thank you likewise to all of you.
All right, on to number 2 then, which is consider and take action on Resolution 24-17, resolution for budget adoption for the public sewer utility. Any questions on this? If none, I'll take a motion to approve resolution number 24-17.
Motion to approve resolution 24-17.
Second.
Have a motion by Traxler, second by Rule, to approve the resolution 24-17, resolution for budget adoption for the public sewer utility. Any discussion on the motion? If none, we'll take a roll call on that, please.
Reed.
Aye.
Rule.
Aye.
Traxler,
Aye.
Malat,
Aye.
Hendrickson. Aye. Kenny.
Aye.
We have a sewer budget for 2018. Congratulations. And thank you for all your work on that as well, staff and to the council. On to number 3 then, which is consider and take action on a request by Lifestar EMS to utilize TRIP tax refund intercept program. This was discussed at the last committee of the whole. We do have a representative available tonight if there's any additional questions, but this seemed to be pretty self-explanatory at the committee of the whole. Unless there's any questions, I'll take a motion to approve the request by Lifestar.
I'll make a motion to approve TRIP for Lifestar.
Second.
Have a motion by Malat and a second by Rule to approve the request by Lifestar EMS to utilize TRIP tax refund intercept program. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, let's take a roll call on that as well, please.
Rule.
Aye.
Traxler,
Aye.
Malat,
Aye.
Hendrickson. Aye. Kenny.
Aye.
Reed.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you. Then on to number 4, which is consider and take action on ordinance number 737-17, an ordinance to repeal and recreate sections 98-186 through 98-190 of the City Code of Ordinances regarding snowmobiles. This is obviously a lengthy conversation we've been having for, well, not just this season, but past seasons, I guess. This would repeal the existing ordinance and replace what we've been working on as a draft the past several meetings, and we also have the exhibits attached in the packet along with the new ordinance. Any questions or concerns on this? One comment I had, I don't know if you've noticed this, but at the last meeting we did talk about the exhibit itself. I guess we've got quite a few photos in there, but there was one spur that is still on this exhibit, which would be the spur that comes from Maple Avenue and goes over to Highway K, which didn't necessarily serve as a gas, food, and lodging spur. It was more for future residential access. And I think we expressed possible confusion of having that trail still on the trail map without the residential access part of it, that people may want to continue to use that trail that was there last year that went all the way through the city. That would be reflected on the second colored page that you have in your packet after the first master page. All of the other ones reflect the actual spurs to the gas, food, and lodging. Do we want to leave that in there, or do we want to redact? Did you have a Matt?
Yeah, that's kind of what I heard too, kind of talking about. I think the idea was that if we're doing gas, food, and lodging, that might lead to this confusion. I was looking at my notes from the previous meeting. I thought what I had written down was that was going to be stricken from the exhibit to kind of make it a little more clear.
You have Jake here?
Talked to the jail boss for that section, and we would not be marking that. Just basically disregard that. That would not be in this year. Like you said, hopefully for future use.
Okay.
I
Thank you.
talked to them, he said he wouldn't mark it, so.
Okay, all right, thank you. So then we'd have the understanding that Exhibit E would not include the extra tail that goes from Maple Avenue over to Highway K, which would be reflected as page number 2 in our packet here. Matt, did you have any additional comments?
Yeah, just one more item. 98-187 sub C, authority to open and close. I think we talked about, or when I brought up the idea that right now it's listed as chief of police and city administrator. I think in our last conversations, we kind of might have not quite finished touching on that. Were we fine with that, or providing a little more language for mayor or council by vote or anything along those lines? I just didn't remember what we kind of finalized on that and want to check on that before we voted on it.
Trina?
I'm fine with the current language. I'm reading this as being somewhat emergency closure when the weather just hasn't cooperated at all, and someone that can get to the area to put up the signage would be in charge of it. So I'm comfortable with it.
I'm comfortable with the language as well. I mean, if there's an issue that comes up, it's speaking to the chief of police or Patrick, so they're aware of it, and I'm sure they would be aware as I am, so. Any additional questions on this? If none, I will take a motion from the council.
Motion to approve ordinance 737-17 as presented.
Second.
Do we need to waive the rules in the readings, Paul? You do. Okay. Do we need to do that first before we get the motion? You do. Can you withdraw your motion?
I withdraw my motion.
Actually, you could suspend that if you want to, but if you want to withdraw it and back up, then we'll do that.
Yeah, let's just do that. I'll withdraw my motion.
Okay. So first we would need a motion to suspend the rules.
So moved.
We have a motion and a second to suspend the rules. Any questions on the motion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Then we need a motion to waive reading.
Motion to waive reading.
Second.
Motion and a second to waive reading. Any questions on that? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Reading's been waived. Now we can take a motion to adopt the ordinance.
I was just thinking, do we want to read the motion with the redaction of the spur between Highway K/Western Ave and Maple Ave?
You sure could.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I move to, on ordinance 737-17, with the redaction of the trail spur between Maple Avenue and Highway K or Western Avenue as presented in the map exhibit.
Second.
We have a motion by Rule and a second by Kenny to adopt the ordinance 737-17 and to repeal and recreate sections 98186 through 98190 of the City Code of Ordinances regarding snowmobiles, with the redaction on the exhibit to include the spur from Maple Avenue to Highway K. Sound good? Any discussion on that? Let's take a roll call on that thing. Oh, sorry.
I think you meant to not include.
To redact it, I'm sorry.
To redact, sorry.
Let's take a roll call on that.
I have a comment.
Oh, sorry.
No, I just wanted to say I wasn't here for this last discussion. I am disappointed that we're removing the residential access. I understand the reasoning. I'm not a fan of it, but it's my understanding that we are going to try to work with the Snowmobile Club in the future to get some type of access back in, and that I can support. That's all I had.
Hendrickson?
Yep, I just wanted to reiterate that I am in favor of residential access, which this ordinance does not include. I will be voting no tonight on that, but it's for that reason and not because I don't believe that this does what we need it to this year. So.
Thank you. All right, unless there's any further comments, could we take a roll call then?
Excuse me. Traxler?
Aye.
Malat?
Aye.
Hendrickson?
No?
Kenny?
Aye.
Reed?
Aye.
Rule?
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you. On to number 5 then, which is the SMMA with DOT for Highway 1660 interchange project for 2018. This went through the Committee of the Whole for discussion. We have the SMMA, which is something new to the City of Columbus that we haven't dealt with before. Patrick, did you want to give a general recap on this? I think this is something we've pretty much need to approve. We don't really have a choice in the matter if we want the project to happen.
As our experience with the James Street project, this is what we have to go through. But just a couple of points. Yeah, the SMMA is something that is a little bit different from what we're used to, but it sets up understanding of the maintenance of the new stretch of highway. I've had discussions with DPW and how that would take place, but again, it's a choice. Do it and we'll fix your road. That's kind of how the bottom line is there. I do want to point out on the SMA piece though, that as I mentioned last time, our CSS choice was to have the black poles, and based on the engineer's estimate, it exceeded our allotted grant, but that was just an estimate, and I was told that if the bids came in below the allotted 47,000, city would not have to kick in the extra. So the latest information and the more accurate information is that the cost did come in under the 47,000. So that's a positive for the city.
Can that number change, Patrick, between now and when the project happens, or?
I don't. This was dollars that the program manager told me as stuff that was pulled out of the bid.
Okay.
So it's part of the contractor's bid. So I think unless there's some unanticipated expense, then it wouldn't change. But I don't think black poles, there's not a whole lot of deviation from what could happen with those. So.
Something happens to the cost of black paint in the next year.
Well, then that'd be the contractor's
Okay.
responsibility.
Okay. All right. Matt, did you have a question?
Yeah, there was just one thing I wanted to touch on quick, that we're, $36 under our amount there, just squeaked in. There shouldn't be any change once the bid's in. I guess the only thing I was kind of wanted to bring up was, if for whatever reason ended up being a change order or contract mod that we added one in or something comes up, I guess, what would we do for contingency on that? Do we have a plan if that happens, I guess? We were already expecting to have to pay a little more. Now we're right under, and with our budget talks, I'm assuming this would just be pulled from one of our slush funds, if you will, I guess. But.
Yeah, at that time, I think we were heading towards developing a plan, but seeing this gave us pause that we wouldn't have to dig in it too far. If that does come up, we would have the time to develop where those resources would come from.
Yeah, I mean, just squeaked under is kind of
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about as close as you can get it. Unless there's any other questions, then I'll take a motion to approve the SMMA with the DOT for the Highway 1660 interchange project for 2018.
Do we need to separate them at all, or can we just go ahead and do this all together?
Either way.
Okay. All right. Motion to approve the SMA and SMMA for State Highway 1660 Interchange Project 2018.
Second.
Have a motion by Rule and a second by Traxler to approve the SMA and the SMMA with the DOT for 1660 interchange project for 2018. Any discussion on the motion?
Request a roll.
Okay. Could we please take a roll call when you're ready?
Malat?
Aye.
Hendrickson?
Aye.
Kenny?
Abstain.
Reed?
Aye.
Rule?
Aye.
Traxler?
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you. On to number 6 then. Consider and take action on a fuel purchase bidding contract for 2018. Information was left at your desks this evening. This did go through the Committee of the Whole for discussion. It went out to bid, and it looks like the recommendation that came back, Patrick, is for Columbus West Travel again. Is that correct?
Yeah, if you want to let me quickly
Please.
review. So as you can see, we had three main points for bidders to respond with: a price for unleaded gasoline, diesel fuel, and whether they had availability for a car wash, which is a little bit lower of the priority, but still something that we valued. And as you could see, some of the savings and some of the other bids were a little bit greater than Columbus West. The key here is, and as we've experienced in working with Columbus West, that their additional program that involves reductions in the cost due to volume over time causes that to put them over the top, so to speak, in terms of the bid. So overall, our best price is going to come from Columbus West.
Any questions from council? All right, if there are none, I'll take a motion to award the fuel purchasing contract for 2018 to the Columbus West Travel.
So moved.
Motion by Traxler, second by Malat, to award the fuel contract for 2018 to Columbus West Travel. Any discussion on the motion? If none, let's take a roll on that, please.
Hendrickson?
Aye.
Kenny?
Aye.
Reed?
Aye.
Rule?
Aye.
Trexler?
Aye.
Malat?
Aye.
Motion passes. On to number 7, which is consider and take action on applications for operators licenses for, I've got some additional ones that weren't in the packet here. We have Tim Hoffman, Nicole Wheeler, Gabriel Olson Stanton, and Megan Schmidt. Any questions on that? If none, I'll take a motion to approve the operators licenses for Tim Hoffman, Nicole Wheeler, Gabriel Olson Stanton, and Megan Schmidt.
I'll make a motion to approve the new operator licenses for the 4 people listed.
Second.
Motion by Traxler, second by Rule, to approve the operators licenses for Tim Hoffman, Nicole Wheeler, Gabriel Olson Stanton, and Megan Schmidt. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Licenses are granted. Thank you. Number 8 then is consider and take action on claims in the amount of $433,859.87. Unless there's any questions or a desire to separate any of the claims, I'll take a motion to approve that amount.
Motion to approve the claims packet in the amount of $433,859.87.
Second.
Motion by Rule, second by Traxler, to approve the city claims in the amount of $433,859.87. Any discussion on that? If none, could we please take a roll?
Kenny?
Aye.
Reed?
Aye.
Rule?
Aye.
Trexler?
Aye.
Malat?
Aye.
Hendrickson?
Aye.
Thank you. On to number 9, report of city officers. I've only got a few things. If you don't mind, I'll jump in, Patrick. I didn't bring notes, but obviously the Columbus Holiday Train came into town on time Sunday evening. We had very favorable weather, so the crowd was quite large this year. So I wanted to thank everybody that was involved in preparing and planning for that event, and that would be Amy Jo Myers, Kim from the Senior Center, and Cindy from the library. Also, the police and fire assisted with traffic control and crowd control, and I think it's an event that's been building a little bit every year. The Tourism Commission put some dollars into promoting the event again this year, but I heard a lot of really positive comments from people after the event. They were very happy with that, so I hope that continues to grow in future years. And also, if you haven't got your copy of the Columbus Commotion yet, I've been seeing these all over town, and I think it's a very comprehensive guide to activities we've got going on quarterly. So again, thanks to the people involved in assembling that. That's all I had. Patrick?
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple of quick things. Congratulations to the Columbus Area Senior Center. They received their official state accreditation as a senior center, so I had the opportunity to go and celebrate with some of the patrons and Kim Lang last week. So great job and a lot of effort by Kim and her staff, her volunteers. I mean, it takes a lot from even the volunteers to put that together. So next, wanted to make you aware and the public that we're planning more of a public welcoming of our new clerk, Megan Moen, and our new director of planning and development, who starts next week, Matt Schreiber. That will take place before the next council meeting, December 19th at about 5:45. So if anyone wants to come and meet our new staff members, that's the opportunity. We want to make them available to all of you as well. And considering the approval of the budget tonight, just a note that the property tax bill should start to arrive within the next couple of weeks. I just want to note that there's a slight change in the way they're processed with the county, in that when you make a payment here at City Hall, it has to be entered through real time on the computer, that Kim was explaining. So it may take just a slight bit more of a time to process that. It'll be a little bit of a new thing, but just wanted to make everyone aware of that. So that's all I have.
Thanks, Patrick. Anybody up here have anything to add? If none, I'll take a motion to adjourn then.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, we stand adjourned. I believe we are live streaming right now, and the volume will be turned off, but the stream is going to stay on if anybody happens to be watching through that format. We'll return in just a few minutes with the committee of the whole meeting. Thank you.